In the screencast, I show how to connect a lively page, a world like you see on the left side, to a normal web page that is not using lively, like the Scrub experiment page that we see on the right side of the screen. The Scrub experiment page basically shows a prototype of how to interact with numbers in a little bit more interactive way than we are used to. So for example, if I type in a number and press the Alt key and then move my mouse, I'm able to directly change the number. And when I also press the Shift key, then a little graph is drawn here that basically gives me direct feedback over the range of values that I can basically scrub over. And I can also add like little formulas here, like Z, and then when I move the graph, then I move the mouse, then I get like a little graph drawn. So in order to connect this kind of application with Lively, the first steps that we can do is, let's just move over to the Lively page here, is to click on the Generate Connect Code button, which will create a bookmark layer that I can drag into my bookmark tab thing of my web browser. And then when I go over to that web page and click on the bookmark layer link, then after 1 or 2 or 3 seconds, I should be able to see a notification that I'm connected to a certain web page. Okay, when I have that, then I will open that web page wrangler object that basically just points to that particular web page. So when I click on the Init button, what will happen is that web page tool basically reaches out to that web page and gets the source code, including like the HTML code, scripts that are loaded into that web page, and things like the style definition of that web page, and displays them into that in this kind of code view. So in order to change things, I'm able to basically directly go into these code parts and enter, for example, different styling here. So let's extend the CSS definition by a background color yellow. And when I save it, this is basically just I'm hitting Command S for saving it. These changes will directly be applied on that page over here. Okay, let's say I really want to change the behavior of that page in order to make like little incremental changes to refine that prototype. So one change that I could try to implement is to have the size of these numbers relate to their rendered font size. So how would you go about it? Well, first you probably want to figure out how the numbers are rendered at all, and this is done inside the number slider file here. And what we can do is we can basically just go ahead and basically subscribe to changes in the numbers values, and basically change the font size of the number when something like this happens. So this is what this little script does here. So it basically subscribes to changes in these numbers, gets the value of the number, and then basically changes the font size accordingly. So when I go into the source code here and just paste that little snippet that I prepared in and evaluate it, and then also have like a little ticking interval script for updating existing numbers, then I can go ahead and like change the value of a number, and now this will be reflected in the rendered size of that number. So this is basically just to show that you can incrementally change things on the web page and basically get direct feedback for these kind of changes to try out like new things. In order to like really integrate that web page into other Lively pages, what we might want to do is to basically convert that page into a morph, so an object that we can deal with in our Lively world here. And for that, two changes are required. So on the one hand, we want to get rid of all that HTML stuff that we have over here. So this is like really defining that entire page. For being able to render it just in Lively, all we need actually is a little div HTML element, which we will give an ID that is then used for the Scrub application to hook all its behavior in. So when I go ahead and just accept that change and also change the main script a little bit to basically, main script is this guy here, to basically use that scrub div element that I just defined and accept that, then I'm able to click on that Morphing button, which will create a little scrub morph in my world. And this is now like really a morph that I can like change in my page, interact with in my page, and which still has the original behavior of that web page defined over here. So when I go in, type in a number, I'm able to like change it. Also, when I have like a little formula over here, I can basically draw a little graph, so it might be hard to see, but in the background right now we can see that a little graph is drawn. So, and it's important to note that this is like not an iframe. It's like really object or inside the Lively page, and in order to basically show that it's a real object, let's change the way this graph is drawn. So first of all, let's get a little canvas object out. I just open the parts bin, search for a canvas object like the canvas morph over here. Get rid of that guy. And then basically for drawing that graph of the Scrub application, I want to use this canvas morph. So to do that, I've prepared a little script that will basically tell the Scrub application here to use this canvas morph. So this guy over here has a name, canvas morph, and this will just be accessed in that script. When I go back to the definition of how the graph is rendered, I can basically just replace that definition with the thing that I've prepared, accept it, and right now at least I still have to reopen that morph. The morph currently that exists is not updated, so let me reopen that, and then when I type in something like here, I'm able to let's minimize it. I'm able to use that little canvas object over here to have a graph drawn. Okay, so and this I think shows nicely that the application that we are using is like really not an iframe, but like a real object. So one last thing that we might be interested in is to make this kind of application also available for reuse and for basically being able to share it with others. So in Lively, what we can do is we can just publish it to the what we call the parts bin, the object repository, and let's create a Scrub object that is it will be saved in parts bin demos. And when I click on publish, then it should be uploaded, and now I should be able to see this new application in the parts bin. Here it is, and I can basically just grab it, drop it inside my world here, and I should be able to just interact with it like I was before. And this object like really inherits all the behaviors that we defined. So when I, for example, try to graph object, it will basically reuse that canvas object that we created beforehand. Okay, so this is basically just to show how to integrate arbitrary, more or less, web page with Lively, change that web page, make incremental live changes to it, and then also make this web page a real morph object that still has basically the original behavior attached, but it's also like a real application that I can reuse inside a Lively world.